All right. Paris.
Hey.
Hey. How you doing?
Hey.
Great. Al, this is Paris.
Good,
and
good.
I've got with me Tammy, Dan, and Scott. Everybody will introduce themselves.
You have all of the Black Sevens in front of you.
Do I have all of the Black Sevens with me?
You have all 4 sevens.
All 4 sevens. I like. We got to play a card game, guys. All right, let me open the show. I'm going to get right away with you. All right.
Right on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to No Cover TV's podcast. That's right. This is Big Al, your host, and I bring you the original local and national music from all over, and I mean all over, from every corner of the world. I bring you that music, and I kind of just smack you around with it because you need to hear it. You need to turn off that radio. You need to stick your head out that window and listen to some great music out there. All genres, all age groups. Take a listen. We've got a great show for you today. I'm going to get with the band in just a second, but first, you know how to get a hold of Big Al, don't you? Sure you do. You know how to use the internet. Facebook, No Cover TV. Al Brady, Facebook. Instagram, No Cover TV with a 1. There's where you go on Instagram. If you use the email, No Cover TV at yahoo.com. So let's get to the show. We got a fun show, a great show. The band in the house hails out of Maryland. Black Sevens in the house. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Hello.
Good evening.
Doing great. How is it out there in the out east there? How's everything going on with you guys?
Oh, it's lovely. The weather has turned from the oppressive heat of summer into the lovely cool of fall, and we're just loving life over here.
It's beautiful out that way. Yes, it is. I'm jealous. We still got a little heat over here in Michigan, but it is cool enough. Yes. So you ready for a kick-ass show?
Yeah, totally.
We're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna pick on you guys.
Pick on us, please. This is a bit of a first for us, so pop our cherry.
I'll pop it real good for Ollie. We're gonna have fun. So you have any questions? I might answer them, but I might not. So anyways, we're gonna talk a little bit. I got all 4 of you here. Paris, Tammy, Dan, and Scott are here.
Yes, sir.
So what I want to do, that makes up Black Sevens. Everybody out there, get on your devices, whatever you use to get on the platforms, look up Black Sevens. Let's first of all, Black Seven, whoever's going to do the main talking, where can we find you? What platforms you on? What websites?
Well, we're on Facebook. We have a website. Bring us up the website address so that everybody can find us on Facebook. If you go to like facebook.com/Black Sevens, capitalize the B, capitalize the S, and instead of a V, put a 7, and that'll get you to our Facebook page. And for our website, which has further links to our other social medias, it is Black Sevens Band. That's sevens plural. .wixsite WIXSITE.com.
Okay.
And that should get everybody, pretty close to finding out all about our cool stuff.
We keep our schedule updated, and we have a bunch of clips for videos and things.
Yeah,
on there.
you can hear all the music from our live shows on the Wix website, also on YouTube, and some older videos. We also we also have links to Instagram as well.
Okay, great, nice.
We're a little bit behind the curve on the social medias, but we're trying.
Well, you're catching up fast. Yes, you are. So let's talk a little bit about the band. Then I want to pick at you guys a little bit. So Black Sevens. Now, the way I'm looking at it, you started back in 2007.
Well. Okay, the band has really kind of existed in like 2 different phases. It's like way back in the day. Paris and I were playing together, and we were pretty much just a duo, feeling things out, starting to write some songs, doing some open mics and things like that. And then, life happened. We, went in different directions. The Army sent Paris somewhere else other than Maryland.
Secret location.
I had life happen, but after a while, we kind of found ourselves both back in Maryland, back in kind of a similar place. And Paris reached out to me, and we revived the band.
Nice.
Through a couple of lineup changes before we settled on the ultimate lineup, our final form, if you will, of me, Paris, Tammy, and Scott. But when did we get back together? That was 2019.
Yeah, it might have been like September 2018 or 2019. I can't remember which. But yeah, I was looking. Oh yeah, it was Riverfest, but it was done on Main Street in Laurel instead. It was Laurel is the town I live in, and I got a phone call from someone saying, "Hey, do you have a band? Do you want to play at Riverfest?" And I was like, "Sure." I decided now I got to put together a band. So I got some people together. I made some phone calls.
Let me jump in here because the way I remember it is my preferred way of remembering it. So Paris,
and this is the way I have agreed.
Your
convenience.
So Paris got a bunch of guys together, and he calls me up and he tells me about this, and he says, and like I need a name for the band to be announced by. Can I use the name Black Sevens, which is what we had been calling ourselves?
Okay.
And I was in a place, recently divorced, looking for, some kind of way of finding my way back home. And Paris calls me with this, and I say, yeah, you can totally use the name Black Sevens. Do you need a bass player?
There you go.
Well, oddly enough, I didn't need a bass player, but I knew Dan was a good bass player, and I knew my friend Tommy would be cool doing something else. And we were going to play a lot of like songs I had written and some classic rock stuff and some blues. And then so I had a drummer that I was working with, and I brought these other people in, and we did the event. Yeah. And when we were done, the drummer Dan and I were like,
"This is some good times.
We've got something here." So we made a genre change by being a little more alternative and more into the kind of music I was into at that time. Mm-hmm. And so the three of us performed, and then eventually I reached out to Dan and said, "Hey, Dan, Tammy does some singing, doesn't she?"
Yeah,
she does. And so we auditioned.
And Paris is jumping to kind of like the end of a long
long list of
story. But like initially it was after that first gig when we like dropped some guys and started to do our own thing. It was Paris and me singing, and we're not the best.
We're not
like we got some skills. But we needed somebody that was a better singer than us.
Yeah.
And so we did some auditions, and then we remembered our friend Tammy, who we've known for ages. And
I think I've known you guys at least like 20 years, maybe almost.
Dan and I met in 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, and we all kind of lived in the same area, and I just had moved back to the States, to Maryland, and they looked me up, and I was like, I would love to do some singing. That'd be great.
It was like serendipity.
Yeah, and we had a second guitar player, and we had auditioned 2 or 3 other singers, and that none of them we were happy with. And
one of them was such a diva.
Yeah. So Tammy sang 3 songs, and we're like, "You're in." We were convinced right there on the spot.
And that's how it's been with everybody who has like been a really great contributing member of the band. We knew right away.
Yeah, I think the time Scott came to play with us, we had just lost another drummer, and I think we'd been through at least 2 other drummers that we saw, and we were like, okay,
we were going through our Spinal Tap moment.
And they were some of them were really nice. They were great, but there's like various reasons that they didn't either fit or they had other things that they were doing. And the first time Scott came to play with us, he left, and we were all real cool about it. Like, thanks for coming out. You're real cool. And then the second he left, we were like, guys,
this is our.
That's him.
So.
Oh, good, good. Well, so you started a little early, but you kind of waited through different members, and this is what the lineup is right now.
Yeah, and it
It
feels
sounds like the perfect lineup.
I think so.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
So what we have is a big happy family.
And I will say the chemistry of musicianship and like as a guitar player and the only guitar player in the band, like the rhythm section is super tight and it allows me
yeah.
to not have to think so hard about the rhythm section. You know, I get to be a little more free in my playing.
You're in control of it, yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
So when you got together, did you who's doing most of the writing to the music? Who's putting the music? Well, what's going on there with the putting it together?
Most of the songwriting, I would say the important thing to remember about the songwriting is at least the last 10% of writing a song is the entire band.
I agree. So I've thought about this, and though like in the very early days, I had like pretty much completed songs, and then there would be some tweaking at that 10%, and there. But on the whole, it's become a little bit more collaborative. Dan has been adding a lot more lyrics. He's written some of his own songs. And so
yeah, like I guess the takeaway is like most of the songwriting, like I would say 70 to 80% of the songwriting is me and Paris coming up with song ideas, either individually or collectively that we finish together, collectively as a band.
And then I tell them when those words feel funny in my mouth, and I have to work.
Definitely.
All right, definitely, Tammy, definitely. So now. Go ahead.
And the thing is, like, I might have a song that to me feels like, oh, it's done, right? Mm-hmm. And then the song will sit in neutral, and Dan or somebody will make some suggestions, and we make those changes, and then the song comes together. And
like that last 10% is crucial to what the song ends up becoming.
I agree.
When everybody gets their perspective in. When we play it live, when we feel the groove and just get to the right place, that's the essence of the Black Seven songwriting.
Yeah, there are songs that would never see the light of day otherwise.
Nice. I like how you put that. I like that. Now, has each of you been in previous bands before Black Sevens?
I did some things in high school, some stuff that like never really went anywhere. A lot of stillborn projects, I'll say. The only stuff that's really had any traction underneath me was the stuff I've done with Black Sevens.
Okay. Rusty? Anybody else?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the same. I did some stuff in high school, but I took a bit of a hiatus from drumming for a while. So this is the first, like, major foray into a band that I've had. So it's been a pretty positive experience. I don't know. They're all right. I've had a lot of drummers before, so I don't know.
He hasn't jumped us yet.
No.
You're right. Oh, well, I put drummers and bass players on a different world, believe me.
I would say, from my own experience, I played nothing but blues for years.
There you go.
I had played with I played with 2 or 3 bands, a lot of classic rock stuff that I don't play anymore. The kind of bands where you could put any band in there and they would all have the same set list. So I did that for a while, and I did learn a lot about being in a band by doing that. I played a lot at church, and I became the rotating go-to guy for bass and lead guitar.
All right.
I was kind of the, we need another guitar player. And so they give me a call. I was playing like with 3 or 4 different bands each month. I would just rotate through. But Black Sevens has been the band that has been felt like this is a band. We gig, we write. So this has been the most successful and most enjoyable band I've been in yet.
Very good. Very good. Well, now that I got some of these questions out of the way, now it's time to get to each of you a little bit. You told me enough. Now it's time for me to get in your heads a little bit. Now we got to roll the dice. Who's coming up first? Who do I pick on first?
That is absolutely the way I would have done that too. I'm terrible at making decisions. I rolled dice.
Let's go counterclockwise, starting with Tammy.
Oh, you want to start with the missus? Tammy. All right, Tammy, you're on. We're going on time capsule. I'm taking everyone on one.
Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Tammy. You ready to go on a time capsule?
Sure. That sounds fun.
It might be. All right. Let's cruise. All right, Tammy. You're a young lady as you are right now, but let's get younger. Let's get to around 10 years old, Tammy. You're a young girl. What do you might be listening to on the radio at that age?
I think on the radio, God, I was living in Germany at the time, so radio was probably not as common. Only because we were moving around so much and I wasn't. But my dad played a lot of Billy Joel, a lot of he had old 8 tracks and stuff too of like stuff from the 80s and late 70s. So that was always fun. But yeah, various things. I know for me, it was more basically whatever my dad was listening to. So a lot of classic rock, but a lot of I think he did Pearl Jam was a big one for him, which was. But I myself, when I got a little older than that, I probably was more like a Nirvana style, that kind.
Nice. When did you decide to start singing? I mean, before Black Sabbath came around, were you singing at all?
Yeah, actually, I've been singing since I was quite young. I my dad got me into karaoke a lot younger than probably smart. But I also I was a musical theater major when I went to college. So
really,
so I'm actually more classically trained, a lot of choir, a lot of that madrigals, that kind of thing. But what I love about being in this band is it's really allowed me to kind of find my own voice and the way that I like to sound, and which is so different than when you're coming from a place of needing to have the proper tone and the proper pitch and all of the way that it's expected. It's no, I'm able to sing songs that may either be written by other people or by people that really know me, and make it a little more comfortable for me.
Right, you get to make it your sound, get to control your voice a little better, and use those octaves the way you want.
Yeah,
that's great, man.
I have a belting background because I'm a mezzo or alto, so I'm a little lower range, and I have a really strong belt, which is kind of the really loud,
so
powerful,
good.
and I've been able to apply that to rock music and stuff, which is really great. I think it's a really great to be able to apply more classically trained stuff to. Yeah, it's great.
Right. Well, a lot of the powerhouse ladies, front women I work with, they definitely they train classically. They build that voice like you are, getting that powerhouse, strong voice, and you're doing a good job, Tammy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're doing a very good job. All right, let's move up. Let's get who's around the corner.
All right, so next in the rotation, counterclockwise, is Paris the Man.
Paris, I got you, Paris. All right, brother. Let's do it, my friend. So you been around playing. You got, I feel, some different inspirations. Yeah, you all do. Actually, what I'm seeing and hearing. Let's go back, Paris. Let's go back to 12.
All right, so. That's so funny. So I grew up listening to the Beatles pretty much, almost exclusively, and then eventually I started I listened to Jesus Christ Superstar and classic rock. I grew up in the 70s. So by the 1980s, I was in middle school, and so I graduated high school in '89. So I really kind of grew up in that time period between the 70s and the 80s. So I saw the transition of music. But for me, what I was listening to and what got me into playing the guitar was playing a guitar, pulling out the Beatles songbook and learning every Beatles song there was.
There you go.
And then I got, exactly. I taught myself how to play, and I learned from other people by spending time with them. But I also was interested in post-punk and like the Police were probably a very large, giant looming shadow in my music. If you listen to some of our songs, you can kind of hear that sound.
Oh yeah, I love the Police, the early stuff.
Yeah, so we do some Police songs, but moving from there, I ended up moving into the Foo Fighters.
Really?
Moving into some alternative rock stuff. To be honest with you, the person who's really kind of got me out of my comfort zone in music is really Dan, because when it comes to when we do covers, he's kind of the guy who's like, I've got this cover. What do you think? And we're like,
it's like, where did you pull that
yeah,
from?
like
out of the weird ether. He's like, no, I know about this song. That's out of nowhere.
So yeah, if you listen to our originals, they're definitely going to have either a blues, like I played electric blues for years.
Okay.
I played like Albert King, Freddie King, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan. I played all that stuff for years. And then, but I had this Police background and Foo Fighters, and I wanted to do something a bit different. And like Black Seven's gives me that opportunity to write that kind of music.
Right. Nice. I like that. So what age did you pick up the guitar? What was your first guitar?
I remember the first time I picked up a guitar, it was in this June of 1984. I owned a little $35 guitar from Best that never got played. I'm left-handed, and and I wasn't learning. My dad was right-handed. He owned a guitar, but he didn't really play. I didn't have a teacher. I was poor, so there was no getting lessons. And so what I did was I literally opened a Beatles book. I pulled out my dad's guitar with my mom's permission, and I saw chord shapes, and I started from there.
Hey.
I was probably 13.
All right. And you just kept going and going and going.
Yes. And what's really strange is now the people that I learned from, my relatives and family members, now I'm well beyond those abilities.
Great.
I'm very humble in my abilities.
Great. Well, practice makes perfect in everything you do, and keep practicing.
Don't
ever stop. Yes, I love the way you're playing this stuff. Awesome. So, who's around the corner?
Okay.
Dan is next.
Yeah. So actually, like,
grill him.
Narratively, it makes good sense for you to follow up Paris with me. So yeah. I mean, what you got?
Sure. Okay.
Dan, you're all right, buddy.
You take it all.
Bass player.
I can take it all.
So you're the bass player.
Yes, I'm the bass player. I do some of the singing. Tammy is the main lead singer, but there are some songs that I sing on. It kind of in the tradition of bands like the Beatles or Queen or like any other band where there's more than one lead singer.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go back, but I'm going to turn around a little bit. What age did you pick up the bass guitar?
Okay, so I had always been interested in music. Like my sister Pam and I, like when we were little, like 7 and 8 years old, like we had a pretend band where we would like make guitars, like we would cut guitars out of cardboard boxes and like and like karaoke sing along to the American Graffiti soundtrack. But the first instrument I ever held in my hands, I got a guitar for Christmas when I was 17.
Oh, nice.
And started learning in a very haphazard way. And like I wasn't feeling like I was making a whole lot of progress. And then I happened into this like really weird sort of like bartering trade, like multi-way sort of deal with a couple of friends of mine, where a friend of mine had won a guitar in a raffle from the 1998 or 99 Ozfest.
Okay.
And he tried to learn guitar, failed. Took the guitar to a Guitar Center, traded it in for a bass and an amp and tried to learn bass and failed. Traded that to a mutual friend of ours for some shit I don't remember. And then that mutual friend of ours traded that bass guitar to me for some shit that I don't remember. But like once I got that bass guitar, like music made sense.
Nice.
Music made sense when I had a bass guitar in my hands. So 17 or 18 is when I first picked up a bass guitar, and it's been off to the races ever since.
It's been a journey.
And just trying to get some level of competency on guitar to complement my abilities on bass.
Nice, nice.
That's my musical mission.
I like it. All right, we got one more to go, and then we're going to get on with the show. Scott. Oh, Scott. Oh, Scott is the drummer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do with you? What planet are you from?
Oh, it's a little planet called Earth.
Right.
That's my favorite planet.
You might have heard of it.
I might have. All right, Scott's the drummer. Now, I notice you're just playing a basic 4-piece right there, but you're filling it in really well. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
You don't need a bigger kit.
I don't think you really do. It's mostly out of laziness, to be honest. So I don't have to carry that many pieces.
You take it up and down those stairs every week.
So our practice studio is on the second floor. So as few pieces as possible.
There you go. Toss them up the steps. Exactly. That's great. All right, Dan. Well, when did you start beating on stuff? What age?
Oh man, probably. I mean, stereotypical drummer. I was always fidgety, beating on everything that within reach. But I started playing the drums in when was it? Probably like 6th grade. So
all right, 6th grade.
Yeah, I actually my musical career started as I was a clarinetist. I was not good at it at all.
Okay.
Absolutely horrible. And I hated every second of it.
I did not go there with my trumpet. 3rd grade trumpet lesson.
I feel like everybody, a lot of people.
Guys, you really want everybody to hear this?
Totally abandon it. So, yeah, that was kind of my arc. Played the clarinet, absolutely hated it, and then found the drums, which I actually really loved. And I took a few lessons, but mostly self-taught, and just play along to music repeatedly. Parents love it. Yeah.
Get the energy out.
Really peaceful household growing up.
It's better than Adderall.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
But and then I played in high school for a while. Played in a band. We did all of our schools pep rallies and stuff, which was really fun. And
nice.
I kind of stopped for a while and picked it back up as an adult. And yeah. It's been really fun.
Well, good. I'm glad you picked it back up, and I'm glad all of you got together.
Yeah.
This is what makes Track 7's, everybody out there. I hope you're on the platforms like they gave you their information. All right, I picked on you guys. Now I'm going to talk about the whole band and some questions for you. All right?
Right on. We're just along for the ride. You're the driver and the navigator. We're in the back seat.
Okay. Well, hopefully I don't go off and curve here a little bit, but I might. So anyways, what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is just some great rock, a little punk in there, indie. It's just groovy. I'm digging it.
Yeah, like we kind of shoot for, I guess our like platonic ideal of rock sits somewhere in the 90s.
I feel like recently we've
give
been
or take half
in,
a decade.
Yeah, and recently we've almost been starting to push in a little more punk aspects, and I think Scott has a lot to do with that because he keeps up with it. And like all of a sudden we tell him we want to do that faster, and his eyes just light up, and he just very excited.
Please.
And like I think what it comes down to is like we're just really trying to just like find our own like definition of just rock.
Yeah.
We're just out to rock out, have a good time, play some good high energy, high feeling, high meaning songs.
And the other thing is and I think we all kind of agree on this, the songs that work the best, the songs that seem to kind of play themselves are the songs that we gravitate towards the most. The songs that take, like, there are songs that we play that it feels effortless to play them because there's such a tight groove. There's such a tight rhythm.
It's the groove. The groove. I'm a slave to the groove, and like Scott and I, like we've just got like we know where the groove is. Like every single, it's almost supernatural.
That's why.
It excites me
in a good way,
in many different ways. But it's awesome. And like Paris is saying, it's like those songs where like we hit that groove and we just ride the groove out to the coda. Those are our best songs.
I like it. I like it.
And that's what we want to do. It's what we shoot for.
Yeah.
Well, it's your music, your style. You do what you want. Don't let anybody tell you what to do.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when we choose, so we our goal is to play originals as much as possible.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're not like prolific. We're not Bruce Springsteen and Sting, so we're not going to be like churning on songs out with stacks.
Yeah, like we can't wake up in the morning and crap out a song.
Yeah, exactly. But so when we choose covers, we don't choose covers that everybody and his brother is doing. We choose like we played a gig in DC, and we did the song "Bring on the Night" by the Police.
Oh my God!
The visceral reaction from
we had a dude in the audience in the bar that night when we played that song, who lost his goddamn mind.
Like, first couple of words or notes, and was the only one in the bar to recognize that.
Yeah.
That song,
and he knew that he was
like,
the only one in the bar.
He lost his mind.
Yeah, and like, for instance, we do Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, Paris, which Tammy knocks out of the park. We do Wrecking Ball, the Miley Cyrus version only.
No,
we don't do the Miley version.
I take it back. We do the punk rock version.
It's
okay.
What's the group that we were looking at?
I have to make this clear right now. We do a cover of Paris Ooh La La by Grace Potter and the Nocturnals that is inspired by another cover of the same song by the YouTube channel is 2 Minutes to Late Night. And that's an invitation to go down that rabbit hole, and I strongly encourage you to do that.
They're great. They're great.
Oh wait, no, we're talking about Wrecking Ball.
Wrecking Ball.
So
yeah.
Okay. I forget what I was saying about the song before, but Wrecking Ball.
Mm-hmm.
2 Minutes to Late Night did a cover of Wrecking Ball in like a heavy metal style.
Okay.
Blew
my goddamn mind, and I said, "We have to do this."
So we do a similar version that allows a lot of good screamy, belty stuff.
So the bottom line is,
obviously it's through the Black Sevens filter, but it's the same in spirit.
The bottom line is, we want to play. If we're going to play a cover, it's going to sound like us, and it isn't going to be every song that everybody and his brothers covered 1,000 times.
Yeah, because there's degrees of cover. I feel it's like there's like just the surface cover where you're just trying to play it as close as possible to the album. Then there's where you feel a little more comfortable with the cover, where you play it straight, but you like put a little bit of finesse on it.
Yeah.
Then there's where you really make it your own,
reconstruct it,
like where you like switch the genre or like really recontextualize it. And then there's the fourth degree of cover.
Oh, I know that one.
And that is the cover that completely obliterates the original version. Talking about like Jimi Hendrix all along the Watchtower level of cover.
Yes, exactly.
And the day we achieve that will be the day I put down my guitar and die.
As for all of the covers, I know we're talking a lot about covers. I feel like in terms of I know we're talking a lot about covers, but in terms of our originals, we've actually got like a lot. We've been talking lately about trying to put together an album.
Yeah, well, we have
enough now.
We have enough material for an album, and it could probably even be a concept album if we sequenced it correctly.
Yeah, we've got about
be driving.
So we've got about 15 or 16 originals.
All right, nice. So you got enough to get So you have enough original material to probably put a couple EPs out or an LP out, right?
Yeah. And that's actually the next phase that we're working towards.
Yeah.
We're
looking for where to record, looking for,
what
it is that we want to put out there first.
So like it looks like maybe January time period, we're probably going to go into the studio and record at least an EP.
All right, January we're looking at. Let's move on because we're at 35 minutes and I want to get to most of my questions because I'm having a lot of good time with you guys. We could do 2 shows in a row, I think.
Well, we'd be glad to come back.
No, you're gonna believe me. So let's get on. It looks like you're building up a fan base, a decent one at that. How are they treating you?
Wonderful.
Nice.
We just played. Where did we play? We played at Roofers Union in DC this 2 weekends ago. Yeah. And we had a handful of people that were just dancing and having a good time. Every time we play Mark's Cafe in DC, we get. I think that's my favorite part is that when people come out, they dance and they cheer because they get excited every time they hear a song they know. Or
right.
And we've got people coming from Virginia. We have people who regularly come from Virginia and Pennsylvania to come see us.
And we see them
at
every gig almost.
Yeah, just about
every gig.
Grab them. That's great. I like to hear that. Now I'm going to jump on the other side of the page. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. When you get up on that stage, Tammy, you especially, and all the rest of you, you get behind your instruments, you start jamming, and like you said, people are dancing to your music, singing along to the songs. How's it make?
All right, we're back.
All right, you're back?
And we're back.
All right.
All right, everybody. We call that technical difficulties. So we had a little technical difficulty with Black Sevens, but we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us. I know where we left off.
Technology is no match for us.
It always happens. So I know where we left off. Do you?
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the fact that we do a lot of original covers we choose are like important to us. That we might be ripping in.
My last question was when you get on that stage, how does that heart feel when you see everybody jamming to your music?
It is it's a reaction. I really say it's like when we get together and play, even just in practice, like we feel that chemistry, we feel like everybody grooving, everybody clicking, we know when it's right. And when we get up and play, like whatever anxiety or nervousness we might be feeling beforehand, which is often a lot, like once we start playing, the groove takes over. And we just get into it and that's it. And when we see the audience reacting, that feeds the reaction. It's like when we play and the audience is into it, it literally it's like a core just melting down into awesomeness.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
So this is Paris. As far as my own experience, I feel like the getting on stage and getting the setup right and being on time, like I'm dealing with a lot of logistics on in my brain. It's kind of my background. And then we start playing.
Like full disclosure, we do not have roadies.
No.
So we do all of it.
So the moment we get that first song done, that first song is always something strong out the gate right away, something powerful. And immediately the audience erupts with a lot of applause. For me, I'm locked in now and I'm good.
There you go.
I just take on the rest of the night and we start trying to connect with the crowd. We talk to the crowd, not too much, but enough to let them know that they are as important to us as we are to them. And the rest of the evening just flows very easily because we know each other well enough. We play together enough. We start moving around, and yeah, we just have a good time.
So really, it's like that first song breaks the ice, and like instantly we're all friends. Yeah, everybody in the room is friends and having fun and getting into music.
It's like a seed crystal in geology.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or chemistry.
Or chemistry.
We can bring in other disciplines if you want.
Sorry, I'm a teacher, by the way.
That's great. That's great.
And Scott is a rocket surgeon.
Yes, he is. That's true.
So venues, are you playing a lot of different venues, or what are we doing?
Mostly we're playing some venues around DC. It seems like the venues that we're trying to look at, like most of the ones that are accepting new bands or bands that are building a following, which is kind of the phase that we're in, happen to be in DC. Like, I'd love to get into some more like Baltimore venues, but it just hasn't happened yet.
But we are doing Zen West in Baltimore in November, so that's gonna be, which is really exciting because Zen West does a lot of local bands. They're always looking for local people, and it's right in the area of Baltimore, like I used to live in, and that kind of thing. It's a good restaurant. They got great food. So
to give you some kind of background, there's like four levels of performance. You've got the festivals, you have the small bars, you have small venue or medium-sized venues they're geared towards live music, and then you have the much more performance areas that are theaters, and that's going to be your nationwide traveling across the country type bands.
Yeah.
Right.
And like in our area, that would be places like the 930 Club or stuff like that. And like if we get into the 930 Club, I consider us we're made.
I feel like
there you go. Awesome. Good deal. So everybody out in the Baltimore area, out there in Maryland, right? Check out Black Sabbath.
DC. Around here we kind of abbreviated as DMV.
DMV.
Delaware, Maryland, Virginia. There's kind of like a concentrated area, and we like shoot for the bullseye of the DMV. Like the Baltimore Washington corridor is what we try to play to.
We'll stay in that tri-state area for a while.
Yeah.
There you go. Build it up, move it out. Exactly. Now let me ask this question. It might be different for each of you, but let's all gather as one happy family. Who would all of you like to open up for and jam with on the big stage?
Oh, let's go clockwise this time, Scott.
Oh God, I don't know.
Let's do it.
I mean, I don't know if this is going to be your answer too, but like Foo Fighters are pretty awesome. Dave Grohl's the man, and he's a drummer. I mean, come on.
Yes.
There you go.
Cool, maybe not an original answer, but I mean,
I like
it. And there's so many videos out there of like the band calling people up from the audience to play with them. And usually it's like a fucking 10-year-old boy. And like, I want to be that 10-year-old boy.
Go up there and suck your thumb.
I want to be that 10-year-old kid, that like 13-year-old, like whatever, who's just like learning how to play. And they've mastered Monkey Wrench. And I want to be that 13-year-old boy that gets on stage with Dave Grohl and just like rocks out Monkey Wrench.
That's amazing.
So, having listened to a lot of blues, I've met some of my music heroes, which was cool and all.
Very nice.
But I agree with Scott. I realized that for me, I would want to open up for or play with the Foo Fighters because I firmly believe that I'd want to play with people who want to have fun.
When did the Foo Fighters become our lodestar?
I don't know. Because I mean, I've known of other people who are real famous that they mention that I would never want to play. I want to play with Stuart Copeland. I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah, there's musicians that like I like personally and like philosophically and musically admire, more than Foo Fighters, but god damn, it'd be fun to fucking play with Foo Fighters.
Oh, it would be great.
Yeah, it's about having fun.
Yeah. I will agree. Foo Fighters sounds really awesome. I would definitely. I would not say no.
Please.
I
But you're
would not
resisting.
say no.
Don't make it.
Tammy, you're resisting.
No, but I honestly, the first band that came to mind, I don't know if any of you guys know this band, and it's not. Anyway, it's a Canadian goth band called
I'm in.
The Birthday Massacre. It's
Yes!
one of the
Oh,
it's one of
yeah,
the few
yeah.
that I've seen live, and I love them. And it's one of those, like, if I was ever able to play with them, that would be awesome. But again, I don't even know. They're just cool. They like they talked to us they talked to me after the show, and I was just like, see, you guys, they gave me that vibe of like the way we talk to each other when they were talking to each other. And I just feel like we would vibe with them well.
All right, so
Okay. And, like, if you want like a real answer with me,
Here we go.
if I could get on stage and play with anyone before like opening up for them or playing with them, because that was kind of the thread of like Foo Fighters, I would play for X Japan.
Oh,
There you go.
I would play for X Japan, and
You're learning
everybody,
a lot about Dan right now.
everybody who's hearing this right now that doesn't know who X Japan is, that's another invitation to a rabbit hole. Go down it, please. Thank me later.
Enjoy it.
okay, I will send the people that way. I hope they come back okay.
They'll come back different.
Okay, but Tammy, you mentioned the band, the Birthday Massacre, right?
I did.
So, well, why don't I drop them a line and see what could happen? I'll see if they'll call you personally.
Oh my God, no.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll
That'd be
see.
great.
If you got some connections.
If you got connections, bro, I'll hear it.
I'm Big Al.
Man,
So,
she honestly, as a performer, the lead singer of that group was one of the things that really gave me the kind of vibe of the type of performer I like to be, is because she made a point of like looking for people holding their camera up in the audience and pointing and going, "Are you ready?" And then like doing some awesome rock stance while she's singing, not missing a freaking beat, and like and making sure everybody was having a good time. And it's like that's the kind of performer. And then like staying afterwards and talking to people.
On that note, we've had bands that we've opened for and bands who have opened for us, and we really enjoy that.
Yeah,
like, we really connect with the bands that we open. There's a band called Submenses. They're a punk band.
They're incredible.
The Invisibles
are amazing. The Invisibles
Okay.
We've played with both of them recently, and they've been great experiences. Awesome bands.
And we just
really great chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah. We're enjoying kind of learning the other local, like getting to know other local bands.
I agree.
And really trying to network a little more in terms of
It's almost like if you think about it, like all of like the pivotal moments in music history have been centered around a scene, you know, like the Haight-Ashbury in the 60s, you know, New York in the 70s with punk, the Seattle in like the late 80s, early 90s with grunge. It's like we really want there to be a Baltimore, DC scene.
There you go.
There is, and we really want to get into it. You know, we
want
to learn.
We would really love to be in that moment, and like that moment hasn't happened yet. But
we're connecting, and I love that we're finding people that we're really connecting with.
And that's what it takes to make a scene.
Yes, connect with everybody in the industry that you can, but keep your eyes and ears open. Follow your path. There's many tree limbs to go down, and you're going to run into people that are going to want to take advantage and tell you this and that, what you want to hear, but they don't mean it.
And that's very true, because like what we do, we love what we do because we do what we love.
There you go.
And I think that whatever we do in the future, that's what we need to hold on to the most. The fact that we love doing this.
And we've been most successful with the songs that we do because we love them.
Yeah.
Not because they're what other people want to hear.
And we're successful with those songs because we just love playing them.
Yeah.
You know, we put all of ourselves into the songs that we love to play, and getting the feedback from the audience for that just drives us to do more of it.
That's it. That's what I
really
want to hear.
all about.
That's it. Hold on to your core values and keep writing those amazing songs. Yes, indeed. So, any of you guys besides my podcast, have you been on any internet radio stations? Have you done anything?
No, this is I think our first interview.
Yeah.
Really?
Like I said, you're breaking our cherry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sending you all over the world.
And like if you want to pass this around to some of your podcaster buddies, it's like I have no pride.
No pride will get you a long ways. There you go. That's funny. So everybody out in podcast land, again, check out Black Sevens. We're having a lot of fun, and they are a lot of fun. Whether they're on air with me or you go see them playing their music, they're having a good time. They're enjoying what they're doing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. I want to talk about a couple of songs. We're going to wrap things up here. All right. A few of them here. How about Lost and Found? I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so Lost and Found.
That's one of those ones that you.
This is one that has like levels of meaning.
When earlier Paris was talking about how sometimes we have songs that might hit the cutting room floor and never see the light of day again unless one of us or two or like us as a group try them again in a very different way. This is definitely one of those songs.
So Lost and Found was something I had started as something completely different when I first wrote it. And it was inspired by life experiences and a friend of mine who lost his father, and they never really kind of reconciled their relationship. And so that song is about the last moments of someone's life, knowing they haven't reconciled those relationships.
Okay.
On a serious note, the character in the story it's the last moments of his life before he dies.
Okay. Very interesting.
And then we took that and we made it more of like a angry Irish drinking song, basically.
Yeah. So when I heard angry Irish drinking song, and that's kind
of like that.
Like we kind of almost took a page from Flogging Molly.
Yes.
In that, like taking a song with like
just the energy, maybe not the
actual. There you go.
Yeah.
Idealistically rather than stylistically.
So there's a lot
that's a good way to
put it. Of like the depressing subject matter that's portrayed in a really high energy kind of way.
Yeah, Flogging Molly songs have a tendency to be, they sound real happy, but they're really kind of dark.
But like, they're about things that make you feel.
All right, let's talk about this song right here, Drive to Nowhere. I'm liking that opening, Paris.
Oh, thank you. Drive to Nowhere was a song. I used to have a friend of mine I wrote this song a while back, and I used to have a friend who used to call me up at like 11:30 at night or midnight and say, "Hey, let's go out for coffee." So
I know him.
Started out with as you call me up and kidnap me for coffee or something like that. Yeah. And then it became that idea of growing up in a town where it's the same thing every night, and you're like in your 30s still seeing the same streets, and time has moved on and you're still there. But Dan added something to the bridge.
I also feel that like it also kind of evokes like that kind of like hometown youth kind of feel.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, there's an area around here called Old Ellicott City. That it's a really, really hip, cool, historic town. And I've spent a lot of time as like a preteen, a teen, a 20-something, like getting everything that I could get out of that town. And like now I'm an adult and it's changed, it's different. And so like that gives me a perspective on the song of like this town of our youth.
Yeah, exactly. The town that kind of doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You drive through and you just like, you live like the life that you've lived and the life that you want to live.
Yeah,
and you realize that those promises of what you thought it was going to be creeped up on you, and
musically,
we think a lot of layers into
So
our
so
songs.
musically speaking, I always say this song is about fast cars, gasoline, and cigarettes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel on a deep level from I like that. It makes me think of, we have a friend from a while back. It makes me think of Andy, and it makes me think of like
Oh, God,
cars and cigarettes and being
Yeah.
out
What?
way late and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Anyway,
it's reveling in your youth, but a youth that doesn't have any particular direction.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we're at our end here. We are going to do a second show in the future here with Black Sevens, everybody out in
And,
podcast
you know,
land.
if you've got more questions about more songs, we'd love to come back
That's what he
and
was saying.
answer more of them, because like we love talking about ourselves. And we love talking about our songs even more.
Well, I know you do. And that's okay.
These guys love the amount of time and that Dan and Paris have put into writing a lot of these songs. They love talking about them.
yeah.
So,
Hey, and Al, we want to thank you for having us. It means a lot to us. It was
Yes.
a great pleasure doing this with you.
Well, it means a lot to me.
It's been great.
Thank you so much. I wish the best for you. Keep continuing what you're doing. Tammy, I'm going to see what I can do for you.
I thank you.
Al, I love you. If you can do anything for us, we'll do anything for you.
Well, I am finishing up on a book, and I think I'll send you guys a copy. It's everything you need to know about being in a band.
Excellent. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Love it. Love
Any
it.
questions you need, just call me up any time of day or night. If somebody approaches you and says this or that, give me a holler.
All right.
Appreciate
Go
it.
in my lap. I'll take care of it. So that's the way we work. All right, I've been in the business too long to let the bullshit happen anymore.
Hell yeah.
That's right. We all stick together. We all kick ass. That's right.
Fuck yeah.
Everybody on podcast land, check out Black Sevens. If you're out there in the Maryland, Baltimore area, just get a hold of them. Check them out. If you
And even if you're not in the Maryland, Baltimore area, like check us out too. Like we love
Yes.
our fans in California or Oregon or Colorado or
There
anywhere.
That'd be nice.
Hawaii, Russia, Ukraine. Yeah, Ukraine.
You got 252 to go. So everywhere around the world, which this is going to hit, check out Black Sevens. This was a great show, great music. Keep it up. I'm going to keep my eye on all of you, and I will have you back soon.
Awesome.
Thank you. We look forward to it.
Thanks, Al.
All right. So say a shout out to whoever you want out there in podcast land, and then we're going to get out of here.
I'm going to shout out to two people who I know are actively not listening. My daughters,
There you go.
Sophia and Catherine.
There you go. Nice.
So I'm going
Very
to
nice.
shout out to some of our biggest fans who have been to our
There you
shows.
Including Catherine and Sophia.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm going to shout out to Kelly Key, officer in the United States Army, and my friend Jen Lambing. I can't remember her married name now. It's been so long. But yeah, Jen is.
You're a bad friend.
I am a bad friend. But she's come down to our shows from Pennsylvania several times, and I want to thank for all the support she's given me for all the years.
I definitely want to shout out my partner Alex. He's been here. He's absolutely been supportive of me being a part of this band, and I love that. It's so great. And
Alex is actually the fifth.
He's our fifth seven. He comes to almost every rehearsal, and he buys us pizza, and it's wonderful.
We all
love it. Nice. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And you, Tammy, Scott.
Oh, we forgot Scott.
Oh,
Scott gets a
I
shout
have
out.
a shout out.
Right.
I have to shout out my girlfriend Juliet and my parents who come to a lot of my shows.
There we go. Shout out to the parents. I love it. Beautiful. You're all wonderful. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much
Al.
for having us.
Thanks,
Al.
Al. Have a good
Ladies,
night.
all right. You have a good night, Black Sevens. We're out of here, everybody. Check out the next podcast and the previous podcast. This is Big Al. I'll talk to you all real soon. Black Sevens, have a good one. I'll talk to you real soon.
Woo!
All right. Peace.
Peace.